And we're back for our daily college basketball best bets here on January 3rd. Yesterday, a 2-3 day, not good. At least we didn't get screwed as badly as Notre Dame did to close the day. Just want to put that out there. Oh my goodness, that was bad. Regardless, I mean, we got coaches fighting referees now. It's something that a lot of fans have been wanting to do over the last couple of years, just with the refereeing or officiating in all sports. But anyways, Notre Dame here, Notre Dame aside, and usually I'm a Notre Dame hater, but I just need to get that off my chest. I just watched that game. Holy crap, that was horrible. It was the only game on, obviously. But regardless, we go 2-3 yesterday. Just get some disappointing results. You know, I think I'm going to be done ever picking, unless a team's like significantly, and I mean like 100 times better than the other. I think I'm done picking road teams to go on the road and win early morning games. So that's my fault picking New Mexico State. They were not, levels ahead of FIU, so that was a bad play on my end. Shout out Sam Houston. You're up 12 points in the second half. You go into halftime up big, and you end up losing by 12 points yourself. That was nice. We needed you to cover 4.5 points, 5.5 points. Yeah, it didn't even matter. The number didn't matter. They lost by double digits. Going on later in the day, we hit on RMU. That was pretty obvious. That felt like a free one against Detroit Mercy. The best one, man. I mean, they should have won the game. Seattle U should have gone to Gonzaga and won. I would have opened with that if they had won the game. Ultimately, the Red Hawks lose in overtime. But I mean, that's a team that's a 25.5 point dog. They go to Gonzaga and almost win. I'm telling you, the future is very bright for that program and for that team this season too. I'm just saying, watch them get Gonzaga a second time this year. Watch them, the next time they play Zaga, they might beat the Bulldogs. Just want to put that out there. And then, of course, LMU, competitive game at Wazoo. They lose by 2 points. So it is what it is. We took money line. Anyways, folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily college basketball best bets here on the channel. Back in the normal setup now, and I know I was so great on making sure to put the timestamps in yesterday's videos. Well, both of them, NBA and college basketball. So I apologize for that. Hit that subscribe button down below for more. Daily NBA best bets out later today, also on the channel as well, college football predictions as well as our NFL predictions. So go make sure to check out both of those. Best bets for the NFL are coming out later today, or actually the best player props are coming out later today. Best bets already got posted yesterday. Okay, on to the first of our 5 best bets today for college basketball. Again, we're going to try a new philosophy here. Unless the team is significantly better, and I mean, again, not to the point where, oh yeah, we think New Mexico State should be able to get it done. That's my fault, okay? Unless they are levels, and it is clear levels. I am not taking a team to win an early morning game on the road. Now, this doesn't really apply, though, because it's Villanova. Like, here's the thing. Like, I think I need to make, that rule is going to be for mid-majors only. Because mid-major teams, on the road, they can't get it figured out in early games. That's my fault. Should have recognized that one. But like Tulane hit for us earlier in the week, regardless. Villanova going on the road to Butler. Give me Butler. Here's why. Okay, right off the bat, Nova's 2-0 in the Big East, and we have been right on Nova already in Big East play. We had them going to Seton Hall and winning. That happened. That was great. They since have beaten DePaul by 5 points. All I'm saying is they've gotten by a little bit. And sure, they beat Seton Hall. It's a great game. They win it. Barely get by DePaul at home. Okay, I get it. The Blue Demons are a little bit better than what they've been over the last couple seasons, but not by much. Nova, they've got good wins against power teams. Wisconsin's their best one. Pitt's not very good. Only losses to Michigan and BYU, and we've noted that, obviously, throughout talking about Villanova, saying, okay, wait, they've only lost to really good teams. Brigham Young's got probably the best player in college basketball, or at least the best potential player in college basketball, and likely the number 1 overall pick in A.J. Devonsta. Michigan is by far the best team in the sport. It's absurd, and those are Nova's only 2 losses. They're going on the road to Butler, and Butler has just been very close to breaking through. Well, first Big East game, you go play Providence, you score 113 points, and sure, you allow 110 at the same time, you win it in double overtime, but a great victory for Butler getting that one done. After that, you go to UConn, lose to the Huskies, and lose by 19 points, beat Northwestern in a non-con game, beat the New Jersey Institute of Technology in between that, and then go to Creighton and lose a competitive game by 4 points. Now, what are the Blue Jays going to be this season? I don't know. Going into conference play, I was not expecting anything out of Creighton. They're 3-0 now, though, so I think we kind of have to treat them a little bit seriously, even though they had a horrible, and I mean horrible, non-con run. Losing to Kansas State, getting blown out by Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska's great, obviously we saw yesterday, but I mean, Creighton had one solid win in non-con play. Oregon. And how solid of a win is Oregon? Just think about that. So regardless, we got to treat Creighton, though, a little bit seriously. We have to. And I know Oregon yesterday went to Maryland and won. But we have to take Creighton seriously, and that's okay. That's one of Butler's losses. The other one's UConn on the road. I was not expecting them to win that game either. And you look at the one game they do play at home in the Big East, Providence, they score 113 points. And I know Boise went in there and won, which is a little tricky, but I'm going to take the team at home here. I'm going to take Butler early in the day. I do think these teams are fairly even. I just think Butler in this spot, they are due for a victory. And that's that's not a great way to look at things. And that's obviously not the main reason we're picking it, but it's just they are playing good basketball and they're just coming up short. They beat Northwestern at home. You go to Creighton, lose a competitive game, you score 85 points and you don't win it. There's a chance Nova shoots the lights out of the ball. There's the potential of that. Villanova hasn't gotten out of the 70s in a while. Just like, again, Butler, there's a big potential of just fast-paced. They're going to run. They're going to, obviously look to shoot immediately in the shot clock, and we get these high-scoring games like they did against Providence. I understand the Providence final score is a little boosted because the game went into double overtime. But regardless, right, we may see just a lights-out shooting attack and just a dominant scoring effort out of Butler. Can Nova keep up with that on the road in Indianapolis? There's a potential that happens. And I really think just a lot of things favor Butler in this game compared to Nova, who sure is undefeated so far in Big East play, and they've played well. They are due for 1-2, though. I mean, let's just be honest. You barely get by DePaul. You beat Seton Hall, a great victory. And yes, they've won some good games this year, and they've only lost to really good teams. I think Butler gets them in this spot. I really think so. It's just one of these college basketball things that just makes sense for a Butler Bulldogs win. Absolutely. Butler led in scoring by Michael Ajayi. Ajayi averaging 16 and 12. He's been dominant this season. The senior out of Kent, Washington, has absolutely, again, ruled over at Butler. Started his career at Pepperdine, averaging 17 and 10. Then transferred to Gonzaga. Lost in the shuffle a little bit, obviously, with the tremendous bigs that they have over there. Ajayi only averaged 19 minutes per game. Only started 13 of those games, averaging 6.5 points per game and 5 rebounds. Then goes over to Butler. Obviously, he's the guy now, averaging at 16 and 12. He leads all of college basketball in rebounds per game and rebounds in general. He's been a monster this season for the Butler Bulldogs. Beyond him, Finley Bizjak is averaging 16 points per game. He's been an efficient scorer. Jeremy Kaiser Jr. is averaging 11 as well. Jamie Kaiser Jr. is averaging 11. They've got players. They do. Villanova, Bryce Lindsey, Lewis, Duke Brennan, some pretty good scores. Tyler Perkins, some really good scorers on that team. I just think the dominance of what Butler has down low with Michael Ajayi down low, again, his dominance, commanding the paint, commanding that post game. I really think that's going to play big dividends here for Butler. And just with them being at home, I like this spot. I really do. Butler has played good basketball. They just haven't seen it go through yet for them. Villanova, playing all right. But going on the road now, first big road test. Seton Hall is. But another big road test. I just don't see it going for them. And we've seen Butler, yes, the Boise loss is not great. Beating Northwestern at home is not easy. And they do it, right? I like this team quite a bit in this spot. Beat Virginia earlier this year. Beat South Carolina. Say what you want about some of those squads. I know those are both neutral site games. But Butler has gotten it done, and there is big scoring potential out of this team. And there's additional players, too, like Johan Traore, who's another big for the squad. I really think the big play tonight is going to work out real huge for Butler. I think they win this game, picking up their second in Big East play here in 2025 or 2026 now. My goodness, we moved years. Wow. Going to be Butler money line at home to kick off the day in Indianapolis. I need to wake up to some good news. Okay, because I'll probably be waking up when this game's at halftime. So I need to see Butler winning, hopefully. Anyways, on to our second best bet of the video, because yesterday, I wake up 10 minutes to go in that New Mexico FIU game, and I just went right back to bed. On to our next game, North Carolina taking on SMU. This is not going to be a case where I take the home team. North Carolina is better than SMU. I fully believe so. Too much talent on North Carolina for SMU to beat. Way too much talent. And this does feel like a trap, I understand. SMU 11-2. They played fairly well this season. First ACC game this year. They've beaten some decent teams. We'll get into that. SEC squad's only 2 of them, but we'll get into that, right? They're playing hot basketball. You look at North Carolina, they're ranked, but again, a ranked team going to SMU. First conference game for SMU this season. Should be a fiery crowd, I would think, in Dallas. We'll see. In the Moody Coliseum, games on the CW network. I think North Carolina still takes it. And again, I understand potentially this could be a trap. I don't think it is, though. North Carolina has now won, I believe, 8 consecutive games after that loss to Michigan State. Since then, win at Kentucky. They can go on the road and win. They blew out Georgetown by 20 points. A couple mid-major wins. Ohio State win, albeit by 1 point, but a win is a win. And they're coming off a 13-point victory over in Chapel Hill against Florida State. And I can go over resumes and records and what teams have done so far this season all I want. Ultimately, I believe this comes down to talent and personnel. The talent and the personnel is better for North Carolina. And you can say, oh, the game's in Dallas. It is. I don't really care that much in this situation. We'll see again how big of a factor the crowd makes. But when North Carolina is fully healthy, are they dangerous? And they are basically fully healthy now. We know what Caleb Wilson can do. Caleb Wilson is starting now to, and I'm seeing this in terms of, NBA circles, and I'm seeing this obviously with college basketball, circles as well. But I'm seeing now the fact that Caleb Wilson is kind of breaking into now the elite 3 tier in the NBA draft conversation. We've always known AJ DeBonsta, Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer. There are some circles now, and I'm seeing like all Indiana Pacers fans saying, I like DeBonsta, but this is a real conversation I'm seeing on Twitter, and I'm seeing, again, Pacers fans having, and multiple fan bases. I like DeBonsta, but watching Caleb Williams, does he pass the eye test? I'm just saying, I believe Caleb Wilson, I think, has fully deserved the right to be added now into the number 1 pick discussion in the NBA draft. Will he be it? Probably not. I think if we go on and look at odds-wise, because, legitimately, it's probably the best way to figure out who the number 1 pick is going to be, because Vegas just knows everything, don't they? I assume it's DeBonsta and Peterson 1 and 2, and then everybody else. I'm sure Boozer's kind of up there as well, but yeah, you look at the odds. AJ DeBonsta minus 105 for the first pick. Darren Peterson plus 100. That's not great, value, but whatever. It should be better than that, but it's okay. DeBonsta minus 105, Peterson plus 100, Cam Boozer plus 750. So it's really DeBonsta and Peterson and then everybody else, but Boozer's in there as well. Fourth now, Caleb Wilson plus 4,500. And then you got Nate Ament, who I think is going to be really good, plus 1,000. Koa Pete plus 1,000. Jaden Quaintance then at plus 20,000, really? Ament and Koa Pete plus 10,000 each. Regardless, right? Caleb Wilson, though, is now kind of broken into that tier. Is he going to be the number 1 pick? Is he going to get picked before DeBonsta, Peterson, or even Boozer? Probably not. But there is discussion being had now, and people are understanding how well Caleb Wilson is playing. This is a guy who puts up 20 points in every single game, and he's going to grab you at least 12 rebounds in every single game. He's an athletic freak, and he's dominant out there. And he will by far be the best player on the court against Southern Methodist. On top of that, I believe there is I don't want to say a huge discrepancy, but there is a discrepancy, in my opinion, in talent on both sides of the coin in this game. Caleb Wilson, obviously, is the best player on the court. Seth Trimble's back. And does that make UNC way more dangerous? Was out for a whole month, played the Kansas game, sat out, or was injured, obviously, did not play for about 6 or 7 weeks. It actually was. Plays the Ohio State game, plays 36 minutes, scores 17 points. Plays against ECU, scores 12 points in 26 minutes. Plays against Florida State, scores 20 points in 35 minutes. Yeah, you get your point guard back. It makes a lot more things. That's great English. It makes things a lot easier for you. Center, Henry Visar, averaging 17. The Estonian, averaging 17 and 10 in his junior year. This is a guy who's been playing at Arizona, now finally starting, and at UNC of all places, he's been dominant this year. I think SMU's, all right. I don't think they can handle all of this. And especially against a UNC team who's got Trimble back now, alongside Wilson, alongside Visar. They are good. 13-1 with the only loss being to Michigan State. We went over their wins. Again, we're going to talk about the SMU victories, but Kansas, Kentucky, Georgetown, Ohio State, Florida State, 5 Power 5 victories. You look at SMU's Power 5 victories, there's some. Are they as impressive? A&M in overtime? All right, good. Mississippi State in overtime? On the road, impressive. Butler by 2 points at home. That's it. They've lost 2 games. LSU, neutral site, at Vandy. Again, not the worst losses to take. Their other victories are just mid-majors, though. They're coming off 2 straight wins. They played back-to-back Sundays against Central Arkansas, only beating them by 17, and then blowing out the Cal State Fullerton Titans, beating them by about 50 points. And now you roll into a UNC game at home. There is talent on SMU. I'm not going to deny that. It's an ACC team, obviously. Boopie Miller has played well this season, averaging 20 points per game. He's been phenomenal for them. Senior year, 5th year, former Central Michigan player. Obviously, Wake a couple years ago. SMU last year, averaged 13. He's taken that next step this season. Their center in Samet, I believe he's Turkish, is averaging 11 and 9. That's a fun matchup. Again, Turkey versus Estonia down low. That'll be something. I'm not denying that SMU has players. Again, Miller's been great this season. Jerron Pierre has been really good, averaging at 19 as well. I mean, Jerron Pierre, senior, experienced player, is a guy that we talked about quite a bit last year at Jacksonville State. Averaged 22 points per game. Every shot went through Jerron Pierre. He got every single look, played at USM, then went to Wichita, then at Jack State. I mean, he's really carried over a high volume of shots and a high volume of good looks this season with the SMU Mustangs. So again, talent's not the problem. It's just they don't have enough talent for UNC. They can score, I get it. I really just think they are going to be overwhelmed by what North Carolina brings today. And I'm going to go with UNC to win the game. They are slight favorites on the road. I don't think the game being in Dallas makes the biggest difference. I'm going to go with the North Carolina Tar Heels on the road to beat the Southern Methodist Mustangs. Give me minus 115 for UNC to go on the road and win. On to our next game, and we move now to a huge matchup in the Mid-American Conference. I know it's early in the season still, but one could argue, no, actually, I will say it is the biggest game this season in the Mid-American Conference. Maybe there's another one, another bigger game, obviously, later in the year. There probably will be. But as of now, by far, the biggest game the Mid-American Conference has gotten this year in college basketball, undoubtedly, is the Akron Zips playing the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. The preseason poll, and by far favorites to win the MAC and the Akron Zips, went to the NCAA tournament last year, taking on the undefeated. And there's, 4 or 5 undefeated teams left in college basketball? We almost saw Gonzaga lose yesterday. I know that would have been their second loss, but just want to put that out there. Obviously, they lost to Michigan, but again, just shout out Seattle U. I brought up Gonzaga because I momentarily forgot they lost to Michigan. Regardless, Miami undefeated. The Zips, 12-1, I believe, 10-3. Miami of Ohio, 14-0. And we looked at their last game. We took them plus money dogs on the road. We took the points. They go into Bowling Green. They win the game by 10 points. Final score 93-83. I will tell you this. That score does not replicate how that game was played. Okay? Miami of Ohio in that first half shoots the lights out of the ball. They outscore Bowling Green 54-28, and that game is at Bowling Green, Ohio. Second half, I'm not going to lie, they took their foot completely off the gas. Let Bowling Green get within 9 at one point with 2 minutes to go. Game finishes, obviously, 10-point score, 93-83. They completely let off. They put in a lot of their bench at the end of that game. I'm not too concerned. Miami of Ohio is great this season. They are one of the few undefeated teams left in college basketball. And really, the only knock on them going into the Bowling Green game was, well, they haven't played anybody. And most of these mid-majors, and almost all of them, are going to play a Power 5 team before their conference season starts. With the mindset, obviously, is, well, A, we get funding if we play these teams. They're bye games. We need that for the program. 2, if we are going to make a run in the tournament, we'd like to probably see one of these teams before we actually get there. And this is something that we see happen sometimes with schools. They win their conference, they dominate, they have a really good record, and yet, they're still a 13 seed. They maybe have 1 or 2 losses, and they're a 13 or 12 seed because, well, they haven't played any good teams yet. They have a lot of just low-tier wins. But the knock on Miami of Ohio going into the Bowling Green game, again, was who's your best win? On the road at UNC Asheville, where you won in overtime against a mid-team at EKU is probably their best victory, right? State, maybe? And I will give Miami of Ohio credit for this. They went on the road and played all these teams. They go to UNC Asheville. They go to Eastern Kentucky. They go to Wright State. They go to Air Force in Colorado Springs. They took on a lot of their games on the road, especially, again, against the better mid-majors that they played, and they welcome in, Mercyhurst and Arkansas Pine Bluff. They legitimately had a Power 5 non-conference schedule, with the exception of the other matchups against Power 5 schools. Obviously, the Redhawks aren't Power 5, but you kind of get my point there. And then they roll into the Bowling Green game, and they just completely dominate the game. I mean, it's not a competitive game. I don't care. The final score says 10 points. That game was not close. When the game mattered, that game was not competitive. And did it help Bowling Green foul them 10 times in the first 10 minutes? And it's not like the referees were, Notre Daming that game, or actually, I guess Cal Golden Bearing that game. That was atrocious yesterday. No, they were getting hacked. Bowling Green just kept on hacking Miami of Ohio, and they kept hitting their free throws. But at the same time, three-point. I mean, Miami of Ohio just shot the lights out of the ball, and everyone on this team is a scoring threat, and everybody can shoot. We're talking about Brant Byers, we're talking about Evan Aparso, we're talking about Peter Suter. Everyone on this team can shoot. Every player on this team can score. Again, Evan Ipasaro doesn't play their last game. Byers, Suter, Elmer, everyone can shoot. This team is good, man. They're the best team in the MAC. I really don't think it's that close. I think they're better than Akron. Guys, they have Peter Suter, who I know only attempts 3 3-pointers per game. He shoots 60% from the three-point line. And sure, he only takes 3, but he's probably going to hit 2 of those 3. And I get it. A lot of his threes just end up when he's wide open and the defense, plays off him and they're looking at doubling Byers or whatnot. Again, you have a guy who shoots 60% from 3 this season. Why wouldn't I take Miami of Ohio again? They're underdogs. They're at home. This is the biggest matchup they get. I understand Akron is supposed to be the best team in the MAC. They may be for now. Guys, if Miami of Ohio shoots like that and scores like they did against Bowling Green, I don't think Akron can beat this squad. Akron, I understand. Their only losses this year are when they when they just completely get outscored, and they're still putting up points too, but they play a team that just puts 100 on them. Legitimately, that's kind of what happens in Akron's L's. At Purdue and West Lafayette, at Mackey, 97 to 79 loss. Against Yale at home, Yale puts up 97 on this team, and again, just hold on to that for a second. Yale, 97 to 94 loss. Murray State, 115 to 100 loss at home. Okay, they've beaten some all right teams. I'll say this though, Akron's only Power 5 game they've played so far is Purdue. Beat Princeton, beat JMU, Milwaukee, Bucknell, Eastern Michigan. I mean, all right wins, but nothing to write home about. They don't play great defense. They don't. And they didn't last year either. They're just a really good scoring team, and they are really dependent on the fact that they believe they can outscore you. And they believe that, okay, yeah, we'll give you this shot, and we're going to go back. We're going to run back on the other side of the court and take a three. I mean, all three of their starters shoot over 40% from the three-point line. And again, what is the volume on all these guys? Not the highest, I understand. But Tavari Johnson shoots like 44% from three, and he can attempt up to 10 per game. And this is a guy, again, senior point guard for the squad, averaging 21 points per game. He was one of the better players last year in the Akron Zips, returns for his senior season. Of course, the team last year that made the NCAA tournament. Tavari Johnson, fourth-year player, all of which with Akron. Amani Lyles averages 15. Shema Scott averages 12.5. Evan Mahaffey averages 11 as well. I mean, there are some really good players on this team. I completely understand. And they score in bunches. It's an experienced Akron group. A lot of, fourth year, third year, potential fifth year players on Akron. I'm just really buying into what Miami of Ohio is doing. And I'll tell you this. I am less concerned about this one as I was in the Bowling Green game. Why? Because I didn't know what to expect. Well, I did know what to expect, but I didn't know if that was going to translate into A, MAC play, and B, on the road against a better team. Potential was supposed to be a better team in Bowling Green. I'm less concerned now. Now I've seen Miami of Ohio go to Bowling Green and win. That's a team that's supposed to finish in the top 4 in the MAC this season. I've seen them go to Bowling Green and win. I've seen them go to various mid-majors and win. But now I've seen the scoring outbursts that they can have in a game like that against Bowling Green, who's supposed to be very solid. And they're playing a team who can't play defense now in Akron. On top of that as well, games in Oxford, Ohio. I'm going with the Red Hawks here. Absolutely. Give me the Miami Ohio Redhawks to win the basketball game at home, and we get it at plus money right now. Plus 115 for the Redhawks to beat the Akron Zips, fully establishing themselves as the best team in the Mid-American. Give me Miami of Ohio with the home victory. On to our fourth best bet of the video. We move to a matchup in the Big Sky. As the Northern Colorado Bears go on the road to take on the Montana Grizzlies, I understand. Northern Colorado was great for us just a little bit ago when we took them to cover against Colorado. They didn't just cover against Colorado. They won the game in Boulder. Now we're going to bet against them. I'm going to take the Montana Grizzlies to win. Why? A lot of things going to play here, but Northern Colorado starts their Big Sky play by going to Bozeman, I believe. Montana, am I right on this one? I believe, because Missoula, I believe, is Montana. Yes, okay. So they go to Bozeman, Montana to play Michigan State. Obviously, same team that's playing in the FCS Championship game on Monday. In football, obviously, but you know my point. Regardless, we see Northern Colorado coming off a Colorado Buffaloes victory. They go to Montana State, and they lose. They lose to the Bobcats by 14 points on the road. Now, 2 days later, they got to go to Missoula, Montana, and play the Grizzlies. A Grizzlies team that's actually supposed to be even better than Montana State. Are they actually, though? I don't know. It's not like Montana State's that impressive. I know they won a big game at Pauley, and I don't think they're that good. I didn't think so at all. Montana, I know they've been very big underachievers this season. This is the team that's supposed to win the Big Sky. They're supposed to be by far the best team with the best players in the Big Sky, and specifically the best player in the Big Sky, Money Williams. More on him in a second. They've been massive underachievers so far. I understand, though, they are 1-0 in Big Sky play, and ultimately, if you're Montana, all that matters to you now is the conference games. Sure, you were disappointing as all hell in your non-con schedule. You start the year 4-1, great, right? You win 2 D2 games, you go to Stanford and lose, expected. You go to UNLV, you pick up a huge road victory, you put up 102 points on a Mountain West school in UNLV. Then you go out and beat Pauley. You beat Pauley at home by 8 points. Great. You go to Texas A&M, you play a competitive game, lose by 5 over in Texas. And then you host Lamar and lose by 5 points. And then you host Oakland and lose by 8. You host North Dakota State, you lose by 9. Beat UND, you lose to Montana Tech, who's a Division II school. You lose to Louisville, but then Big Sky play starts and you beat Northern Arizona. I'm going to take the Grizzlies here. There's momentum for Northern Colorado. They've been stuck in Montana for 3 days. And ultimately, when we look at Northern Colorado, they have lost 3 of their last 4. You beat South Dakota in overtime, then you lose at Texas Tech, you lose to Denver at home, you beat Colorado, and then you lose by 14 points to Montana State. There's good players in Northern Colorado. I really like Quinn Denker. Denker's averaging 18 points per game this season. Brock Wiseman's really good. Zach Block's having a good year. But the best player on the court is by far Money Williams. Ultimately, Money Williams needs to show up, and his teammates need to show up too. And that goes without saying, but no, for real. Guys, Montana State has been pretty awful this year for what they've been expected to be, I should say. Right? Montana's a team that last year that's a 14 seed in the NCAA tournament. They went 15-3 last year in the Big Sky, 25-9 as a whole. Did have a pretty rough start to the year last year. I mean, they went into Big Sky play 7-6, and this year they went into Big Sky play at 6-7, so kind of on track. They obviously lost to the Wisconsin Badgers last year in the first round of the NCAA tournament, but it's time to get going, and they've just been so disappointing. And Money Williams, I should say, has played very mid since that first big run where they played A&M really close. They beat UNLV. Money Williams has been very underwhelming. Last 2 games he's been underwhelming, I should say. Because the D2 games, I'm not going to put much. Actually, no, we have to put something into the Montana Tech game because they lost to Montana Tech. It was a competitive game. He scored 19 points. Louisville game, he doesn't hit a single field goal. Goes 0 for 6 and scores 4 points. NAU game, 11 points. They need huge production out of the Money Williams, and his teammates need to come through too, though, right? There needs to be some help. Otherwise, in the NAU game against the Lumberjacks, it was Tyler Thompson. It was Keon Aguino. They need those guys to fully show up and win them this game with Money Williams. I think they do it. They're at home, and I like the fact that Northern Colorado has been on the road for this long, right? You go to Boulder immediately. You probably go right to Montana State. Maybe you stop by, Northern Colorado. But regardless, you go straight to Montana State, you lose. Now you got to sit, wait for the Montana game. End of the road trip, end of a 3-game road trip. I like the Grizzlies. I like them quite a bit. And again, I do believe it's somewhat important to say, yes, Montana, if you were to look at this game in the preseason, you would say, yeah, Montana should easily win this game. Northern Colorado, one of the better teams in the Big Sky, but at home in Missoula, yeah, Montana should easily take this. The only reason this game is so close is obviously the way Montana played in their non-con schedule. And I don't think we'd be all that concerned if it wasn't for the Montana Tech game, but here we are. And yes, they dropped a lot of home games, not bye games, but games against Lamar, Oakland, NDSU. I mean, with the exception of NDSU, you're supposed to win both those games. And no, you're supposed to be NDSU too, but I mean, I guess we can kind of, okay, like that team's going to win the Summit, but probably. They need to be better. They need to be better, and they are coming off a win. If anything, that is the biggest momentum booster that they can have after being more than disappointing, I should say, right? I mean, how big of a momentum, loss is it? I mean, how demoralizing is it to go from losing to Montana Tech and then you got to get back in the locker room and say, okay, yeah, we're going to Louisville. We got to play a top 10 team in the country. But somehow, obviously they don't beat Louisville. They bounce back and they beat NAU right after. I got to commend that, and I got to go with Montana here tonight. They're at home. I think they get it done. Give me the Grizzlies at home to beat the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks, minus 110 for the Grizzlies to get it done and officially get back on the right track. And as well, Northern Colorado just lost to the Bobcats of Montana State. Give me the Grizzlies. On now to our final best bet of the video, and let's move to San Diego, California, or La Jolla, California, as the UCSD Tritons take on the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Give me UCSD. I've been waiting for this spot where we can officially pick a money line for another team against Hawaii. I've been waiting for it all year long where I can confidently say money line against Hawaii, other than Arizona State, who did come through. But anyways, I've been waiting for this, and now we get it. Hawaii's not that good. I don't care what anybody says. They're good. They're not great. 11-2 this season. Losses are only to Oregon by 1 point in Eugene, a 7-point loss to Arizona State, and that's it. Obviously, 2 losses. Okay, they're on a big winning streak right now. I think it's a fraudulent win streak. You beat Hawaii Pacific, you beat North Dakota, you beat Davis, you beat Fullerton. You beat Hawaii Aleo, and you beat UTEP. All those games are on the islands. Every Hawaii game at home is somewhat rigged, and in some facet, some form. I'm just being honest, guys. Referees love the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. They get to the free throw line like it's no other. If you don't believe me, watch Hawaii versus East Texas A&M and watch Hawaii shoot 50 free throws in one basketball game. And they go to UCR, they go to that literal cesspool, that disgusting campus, that disgusting place, and they beat them by 40 plus points. I couldn't expect anything less out of a dog crap pile of a university, otherwise known as the cesspool at UCR. Okay, Hawaii goes in there and beats them by 40 points. I don't care. UCR sucks. They lost Joel Armand training. They lost Barrington Hargris. That team's not very. They lost. Oh my goodness, lost their point guard, their other point guard as well. They're horrible this year at UCR. Anyways, UCSD should be able to clean things up here and beat Hawaii. UCSD's coming off a loss to Cal Poly, which, yikes. Peter Bondil and the Mustangs can be tough, I guess. Anyways, I'm still okay with UCSD. They went on the road and lost to Poly. Hawaii's in the States. Yes, they went to the cesspool and won. I mean, wow, you go from paradise to literal, human. I'm not going to go that far. No, let's say you go from paradise to human shit. From Hawaii over, I know Honolulu's been kind of recently. I've seen some things. But anyways, I'm sure it's still paradise. You go from paradise to the cesspool. Anyways, now again, you gotta go to UCSD, which obviously is a lot better than the Inland Empire. I don't hate the Inland Empire at UCR. Anyways, they've been now in the States for a while. It's a team that didn't play for like 20 days, Hawaii did, and now they got to play second game in, across the ocean in uncharted territory for them. I mean, yes, they're part of our country, but basketball in Hawaii, it's like you're playing in a different country. It just is, guys. The officiating, that home court advantage that they have, it's something. That band with like 20 kids, it's something else, man. It's just different. Like they say SEC football is different, Hawaii basketball is just different. You're really up against it when you go to Honolulu. They're going to UCSD. They've been in the States now for a little bit. I think they lose this game. Do the Rainbow Warriors. Now, ultimately, every Hawaii game, in my opinion, is up to the center position for their opposing team, because we know what Big Fish Isaac Johnson does. What is it? This is his thing. It's kind of corny. Dude's kind of corny too. He's a front runner, but it's fine. He couldn't play at Utah State, so now he's just acts like he's the shit over now at Hawaii, but it's okay. It all comes down to him. I expect UCSD to double him all night long. I would think. I don't know if they have anyone size-wise that can really. Actually, no, they have Bull Dingit, who is an Australian junior. Actually, no, I think they'll be fine. I was thinking they were just going to double Beef and him, but I think they'll probably just go one-on-one with Isaac Johnson. Yeah, here's the thing, too, I've been saying about Hawaii for a while. Once they actually play good teams, and we saw this against Oregon, we saw this against Arizona State, when they play good teams, they're not, well, obviously they're not very good, but because they're so dependent on their center position. They're like the Portland Trailblazers. It's a weird comp, but hear me out. Isaac Johnson's like Donovan Clingan. Obviously, he's nowhere near the basketball player Donovan Clingan is, but hear me out here. Hawaii is so dependent on the second chance opportunity, and okay, yes, we'll feed down low sometimes, but a lot of Isaac Johnson's points, and more than Clingan, honestly, less than Clingan, but still, a lot of his points come off of offensive rebounds and putbacks. I will say, Hawaii does run more straight stuff to Isaac Johnson than the Portland Trailblazers do for Donovan Clingan. And Isaac Johnson can kind of shoot like Clingan can too. That's honestly his NBA comp. Just obviously nowhere near as good because he plays for Hawaii. But a lot of what they do is Isaac Johnson offensive rebound, kick out. Isaac Johnson rebound, kick out. Extend possessions, extend. And they're able to do that because, again, he's so tall and he's so much bigger than any of the mid-major guys that he's playing, the mid-major bigs he's playing against, the Manhattans of the world, the Mississippi Valley States of the world, and even the UC Davises of the world, the UTEPs. And they get to play in their own arena, they get to play in their own island. I mean, come on. Because they're not that great of a shooting team. Dre Bullock's supposed to be one of their better players. He shoots 27% from three-point range. Yet he keeps on shooting it because he knows that rebound's coming. Yidis Nemiska is not a bad three-point shooter. Shoots, I think, what? No, Nemiska's shooting 27% this year, too. Those are their best guys. It's just they're so dependent on getting to the free throw line and getting offensive rebounds. They're not going to get that advantage in terms of foul calls at UCSD. And on top of that, too, I don't think Isaac Johnson is going to be this dominant with Bull Dingit on him. Hell no. And the best player on the court is not playing on Hawaii this time around. Usually, Isaac Johnson is the best player on the court. No, it's Leo Beef. By far, it's Leo Beef. Underwhelming performance, I'll say, against Cal Poly, only putting up 7 points. That means he's due. Former Florida Atlantic player, now at UCSD after, I think it was a JUCO or D2 tenure. Regardless, Leo Beef has been great this season, averaging 17 points per game, and he's by far the best player on the court tonight between UCSD and Hawaii. That's why I got to go with the Trojans to pick up the victory. UC San Diego is at home, and we're going to put an end to this Big Fish nonsense tonight. Minus 115 for the Trojans to get it done to close the night. Folks, thank y'all for watching our college basketball best bets here on January 3rd. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily college basketball best bets. Folks, thank y'all for watching.